Welcome back to the Math Professors. I'm Professor Van Hamlin, and today I'm going to cover quadratic form trinomials. This is a request made to us, so if you have requests, welcome to send them. We'll try to make some videos as fast as we can. So in order to do this, I want to remember factoring quadratic trinomials in general. So if I have something like this and I'm trying to factor x squared minus 7x plus 10, well, this comes down to the method of, I need two numbers that multiply to 10 but add to negative 7. And basically what we're doing is we're reverse engineering how to FOIL or multiply a binomial over a binomial. So I know that x times x is going to give us x squared, and then these two numbers are going to have to multiply to 10. So that's why we need two numbers that multiply to that 10, and moreover, they have to add to become that negative 7. So that's why this is going to be minus 2 and this is going to be minus 5. So you can see these multiply to x squared, these multiply to negative 10, and then when I do outside and inside, minus 5x minus 2x is going to be negative 7x. So let's FOIL this or distribute. So first is going to be x squared. Outside is minus 5x. Inside is minus 2x. Last is plus 10. So this does give us x squared minus 7x plus 10. So when we're asking to factor this is us factoring that trinomial into two binomials. Now, quadratic form trinomials take a very similar idea. It has quadratic form, and we'll start out with something like kind of basic, like this. Now, I know it has quadratic form, and kind of the dead giveaway is, notice that this power is twice this power. So very similar, we can reverse engineer this, except in this time, x times x is not going to work. We're going to need an x squared and also an x squared. So x squared times x squared gives us x to the fourth. And then similarly, we're going to have two things that multiply to positive 10, but add to negative 7. So we can see that we're going to get minus 5. And then we can check this. So when we FOIL, x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. Outside is minus 5x squared. Inside is minus 2x squared. And then last plus 10, which does simplify to this. So this is, factoring that quadratic form trinomial. Now, sometimes these things factor further. So let's call this example A. Let's do an example B. Let's do something similar with fourth degree. So what if I have like x squared minus 6x plus 8? Sorry, I want quadratic. Boom. Again, I know it's quadratic form because that power is twice that power. And that means I can factor this into two binomials to where the first is going to be x squared and x squared. That's going to multiply to x to the fourth. And I need two things that multiply to positive 8, but add to negative 6. And we can see that this is going to be a minus 4 and then a minus 2. So usually we would be done here like this because these things, when you get further into a pre-calc, you guys know that these things will factor. This will factor into, this really is a difference of squares where this is square root of 2. And similar here. But let's say let's just do rational coefficients. So x squared minus 4 is a difference of squares. That's a perfect square as well. So this piece right here factors further into x plus 2 times x minus 2. And then we still have this x squared minus 2. All right, now we can go further and further with this. So what if I want to factor, say, something like C? What if I have x minus root x minus 6? Say I want to factor something of this form. So this is still a quadratic form trinomial. And again, notice that these powers still follow this rule that this power is twice this power. So if I was going to write them in just their exponent form, we can see that this power is twice this power. So similarly, here's kind of the trick. If you want to know what goes, in these first spots, it's going to match that particular power on the B term, like the a squared, a x squared plus bx plus c. But in this case, we don't have x squared and x. We actually have, x to the fourth and x squared. So it's always going to be, it's going to match this. So similarly, what's going to happen is it's going to match. This is going to have to go in both those pieces. So this is going to be root x. This is going to be root x. And then we can check. Root x times root x does give us x. And then outside and inside is going to give us something root x. So now what I need is I need two things that multiply to negative 6, but add to negative 1. We can see that is minus 3 plus 2. And then you can check with FOILing. And this works, like I said, for really any power. So if we want to choose, let's do just one more kind of idea. Let's say x to the 10th, and I'm going to make this thing factorable. So let's say minus 3x to the 5th, and then plus 10. Notice this is still quadratic form trinomial. That power is twice this power. So I know when I factor this into two binomials, this is going to give us an x to the 5th. This is also going to get us an x to the 5th. And then I need two things that multiply to negative 10, but add to negative 3. So this is going to be a minus 5 and a plus 2. And then we can see that first is going to give us x to the 10th. Outside and inside, it's going to give us a minus 3 x to the 5th. And then last is going to give us a minus 10. Now this trick still works even if you have a coefficient in front of here, but we'll save that for another video. So if you like our free content, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing. Next up.